Does this sound like your child? A mother of a 7-year-old daughter uh, tells us that her daughter gets distracted easily, doesn't focus on the work, low self confidence, easily gives up on things, doesn't listen completely on what we have to say, assumes, and starts to cry or show anger. But when they've tried to help her, it seems like trial and error. Just, try one thing, try another thing, see if anything helps. And so far, not much success. On the positive side, right now, she is into singing and she loves it. I'm so glad to hear that, because that first part of the description is pretty sobering when you think of a child who is really struggling with learning situations. Um, and when you put all those things together, being distracted easily, doesn't focus on the work, I think just about every parent, or the vast majority of parents, when they start to describe their children's issues, start with attention, focus, being distracted, not being able to stay on task. I think we always it's very easy to go to that attention concern, because if they're not getting it, they must not be paying attention. That's sort of the first step. If we can't get through the attention filters in our brain, if we can't actually, focus on something, we're going to have gaps, we're going to miss things, and learning isn't, there's nothing there to learn if it doesn't get through those attention filters, I guess is another way to say it. But it's not always about attention, doesn't listen completely. Well, gosh, I can think of a whole bunch of reasons why a child wouldn't listen to the end of a parent's comment, statement, effort to help. But and I'm sure it is well intentioned. I'm sure it's just trying to help. Why don't you look at it this way? Maybe if we tried that. But if a child is struggling, if they're not getting it, and not necessarily because it didn't get through the attention filters, but because they can't grasp it for some reason, or it's not coming at them the way that their brain makes sense of the world, then having someone say it again, or say, well, just think about it this way, isn't going to be very helpful. And when we are perceiving the world a particular way, we know what we can do and what we can't do, or at least we are in that state where whatever it is we're being asked to do, we are not doing it. We can't do it. We don't know how to do it. We don't have the skills to do it. Then a very common reaction, especially for younger children, is going to be anger, hurt. I feel helpless. What else can I do but cry? It's really heartbreaking, because we don't want to make our children cry. We don't want them to make them angry. Parenting is supposed to be, not that it's always easy, but a loving relationship. We want to comfort, we want to help, we want to reassure, we want to give our children the tools. But if we're not seeing the world the way that they see it, if we don't understand how they learn, what skills are strong and what skills aren't, it's going to be really challenging. We're going to miss the boat a lot. And when we miss the boat, then we're going to set our children up for disappointment, for struggle, for feeling like they can't do it, and for giving up. So, we often say that doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result is the definition of insanity. Well, most kids are not insane. They are not going to keep doing the same thing over and over and over again when it isn't working for them. It's more than we can ask of them. And it isn't about doing it the same way over and over again. We've got to figure out something different in terms of how they learn. Giving up on things, low self-confidence, tears, anger, all of that are really strong signs that this child has some learning issues. And it may be that it's attention. That could be one thing. But it could be something else. It could be processing speed. It could be the way where her stronger cognitive skills are, her stronger complex reasoning skills, where the way that we understand and categorize and make sense of the world and whatever the problem is that we're confronted with. So until we get to the bottom of that, it's going to be really, really hard. And it's going to be just a matter of trial and error, throwing spaghetti against the wall and seeing if anything sticks. And that's not rewarding. That is just pretty much guaranteed to ensure that the child doesn't respond and doesn't feel like they have the capability. If I don't feel like I've got the capability, my inclination is going to be to give up. But the good news is that we can know, we can learn a lot in about an hour's time, frankly, through a cognitive assessment, where those strengths are and where those weak areas are. And we have assessed thousands of kids. And one of the things that I love the most about what I do is the initial conversation that I have with a parent or parents when we have the results from the cognitive assessment. Because what we are able to do at that point is explain the likely underlying causes of what they're seeing. That doesn't focus, the low self-confidence, that doesn't listen completely. We will have some pretty clear understanding of what is going on and why that is happening. So that's number one. And what I see is this tremendous weight lift off parents' shoulders because it makes sense to them. They can understand it. They can see what's actually going on. And they don't have to feel guilty about it. This is simply the way children learn. My child learns differently. I learn differently. And so that's one aspect of it. And the other one is that we focus a lot on their strengths because every child has them. When we understand what those strengths are, then we can help the child use those strengths. And I had a parent the other day actually say to me, she said, I'm just surprised at how strong some of his skills were. Because she was used to seeing him fail and fail and fail and struggle and struggle and struggle. And when she understood that there were some strengths that he could leverage, that he could use in learning situations to help it be easier, to help it make more sense, along with the fact that we can strengthen those weaker areas through comprehensive integrated cognitive training. So there's so much hope in this process. It comes, it starts with an identification of the problem that the parent can see. It starts with, my child can't focus. My child can't sustain their attention. They won't listen to us. Until we've the end of our thought. They start to cry. That's where it starts. And the steps that come quickly after that, with the assessment and understanding what the causes are for those struggles, as well as what the child's strengths are so empowering and create so much hope, create so much positivity. It can be a truly transformative process. And so if you have a child that has some struggles, let us know about it. I'd love to be able to talk with you about it and at least consider some of the reasons that those struggles might be taking place. Talk about the fact that cognitive skills, things like attention, things like visual processing, processing speed, uh, all of these things, when I have a mentor who once said, when we ask kids to pay attention, some of them just can't do it because they don't have the skills to actually focus and pay attention. Some kids can't keep up in the classroom because they don't process at the speed at which the classroom is progressing. Some kids can't, when you say, well, just look at it. Don't you see X? Some kids don't see X. They see something else. Or they will hear something different, or they will interpret something different, or they simply don't have the skill that allows them to hold information in their mind while they're thinking about it, listen to the teacher and take notes at the same time. Those are all based on the cognitive processes our brains use to take in, store, retrieve, make sense of information. And everybody has strengths and weaknesses. I do, you do, our kids do. And when we understand that, then we can help them. That makes all the difference. So I will post a copy a link to a webinar we have that talks about cognitive skills and the role that they play in learning. And it gives some perspective on why this is so important for parents to be able to address. And I will look forward to seeing you another time.